Christy Bautista had been counting down the days. A concert trip to Washington, D.C. was supposed to be a break from routine, a few days of music, laughter, and escape. She packed lightly, checked into a downtown hotel, and sent messages to loved ones that night. Everything felt normal. Safe. Exciting. No one knew those messages would be the last time anyone would hear from her. The hotel itself was unremarkable, clean hallways, neutral lighting, the soft hum of city life outside. Guests came and went. Doors opened and closed. Nothing out of the ordinary. Behind one of those doors, though, something unthinkable was unfolding. At some point during the night, Christy was attacked inside her own hotel room. There were no screams heard by staff. No frantic calls to the front desk. No alarms triggered. When her body was discovered, investigators would later confirm the brutality of what happened. Christy Bautista had been stabbed 34 times. Not once in a moment of panic. Not twice in a struggle. But dozens of times, a level of violence that spoke not just of rage, but intent. The room told a quiet, devastating story. There was no forced entry. No signs of a random intruder roaming the hotel. Whoever did this hadn't broken in. They had been let in. When police arrived, the scene was chilling in its stillness. Christy's belongings were untouched. Her purse, phone, and personal items were still there. This wasn't a robbery. Detectives began retracing her final hours, hotel security footage, keycard logs, text messages, phone pings. Each detail narrowed the focus. And slowly, a picture emerged. Christy had not been alone that night. Investigators identified a man who had been with Christy shortly before her death. Surveillance footage showed him entering the hotel with her. But what stood out wasn't just who he was, it was what happened afterward. He was seen leaving the hotel alone. No panic. No rush for help. No sign of distress. Just, leaving. When police tracked him down, the evidence began to close in. Forensic findings. Digital records. Timelines that didn't align with his story. Confronted with the weight of what investigators had uncovered, the man eventually did something unexpected. He didn't go to trial. In court, the man pleaded guilty to the murder of Christy Bautista. There would be no dramatic testimony. No cross-examinations. No attempt to explain away the violence. Just an admission. But the guilty plea raised questions that still haunt this case. Why such extreme violence? What turned a concert trip into a crime scene? And what happened in that hotel room that escalated so quickly, and so fatally? Those answers died with Christy. At sentencing, Christy's loved ones finally had a chance to speak. They talked about who she was beyond the headlines, her laughter, her plans, her future. They described the hole her death left behind, a silence no prison sentence could ever fill. The judge did not hesitate. The man was sentenced to decades behind bars, a long prison term meant to reflect the severity of the crime and the irreversible loss of life. The courtroom was quiet as the sentence was read. For the law, it was justice served. For Christy's family, it was something else entirely. Because no sentence, no matter how long, can bring someone back. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just the violence, it's the setting. A hotel room. A concert weekend. A place people associate with safety and excitement. Christy Bautista didn't take risks that night. She didn't wander into danger. She trusted the wrong person, and paid with her life. And that is the most terrifying truth of all. Sometimes, the danger doesn't break in. Sometimes, it's already inside the room. Christy went to Washington, D.C. for music and memories. Instead, she became another name in a courtroom file, another reminder of how quickly a moment can turn fatal. Her story isn't just about a crime. It's about trust. It's about vulnerability. And it's about a life that deserves so much more than a final night alone in a hotel room.